Welcome back to FM Story. In the last episode, we began season 6 of the Glory Hunt save, and we stayed at Man City. There wasn't another opportunity came up for another club that would be even close to challenging for a trophy in their country. We started season 6 reasonably well. We're currently third in the league table, 1 point off the top. We've won both our games in the Champions League so far. And coming up in this episode, we've got a big game in the Champions League against Real Madrid. So without further ado, let's get into the action. We're made it to the end of October. We've got a Champions League game coming up away at Young Boys. We ended the last episode in a pretty decent run of form, and largely we've continued that on through the start of this episode. We began with a game against Crystal Palace where we won 1-0. Unfortunately, that doesn't really tell the whole picture. So we had a load of players that picked up injuries on international duty, including Florian Wirtz, including Xavi Simons, Donnarumma. In this game, Haaland and Rico Lewis picked up knocks. Alphonso Davies had to go off injured. So we've kind of since then been mixing and matching the team to try and get a decent 11 out. We then followed that game against Crystal Palace up with a trip to Germany to play Hoffenheim in the Champions League. And largely we were pretty good. We were 2-0 up before half-time. They got a late consolation goal. They actually had an equaliser disallowed in the 94th minute. It was well offside, but we did ride our luck a bit towards the end of that game. We then had a league game at home against Newcastle. A pretty comfortable 3-1 victory. Again, just a late consolation goal for them. Then we were at home to Burnley in the League Cup, and we picked pretty much a rotated team. We've got no need to waste like regular starters in this competition. Granelli got an early goal, and to be honest, not an awful lot happened after that. And then the most recently game against Aston Villa, we were by far and away the second best team until we went 2-0 up. They could have been 3-4 maybe up before we got a goal. It was a back post header from Ruben Diaz from a free kick. They then missed a penalty around about the hour mark. And then TJ McGran scored when bad back pass to the keeper. He cleared it straight to McGran, took it down on his chest, smashed the volley past the keeper. And then after we went 2-0 up, we started to really dominate the game. And we could have had and probably should have had another goal or two after that, but we came away with the 3 points. What it means as far as the league's concerned is we are actually top of the table. We're 2 points clear of Arsenal, 4 points clear of Liverpool, and that's with managing the team without picking like our strongest 11 every game. So hopefully that can continue. And then going into this game against Young Boys, we're in a pretty strong position in the Champions League. We've played 3 games, we've won all 3. We're in 4th in the league phase there. It would help if we could pick up a victory in this game against Young Boys, because our next game is a trip to Real Madrid the following week. So hopefully we can at least pick up 3 points from the Young Boys game to put us in a pretty strong position going into that game. Now, we fly off to Switzerland to take on Young Boys. Alphonso Davies and Xavi Simons showing us doubtful, but I'm pretty certain that once we get the fitness test information, they're going to have failed fitness tests. But hopefully we've got enough about us to get 3 points away from home. So this is the side we've gone for again in the game against Young Boys. We've gone with Edison in goal because we're still rotating the goalkeepers when they're both fit. We've gone Ruben Diaz and Gvardiol as the central defence. With Alphonso Davies being out injured, we've gone with Luke McHenry at left back, Matheus Nunes is just coming back into some form following his cruciate ligament injury last season. So he's going to partner Musiala with McCrann and Foden behind Haaland. So if we're going with that narrow 4-3-3, they're going in with a more regular 4-3-3. The player that we've been advised to watch out for is Elia on the right wing. Right, a throw for them. I'm trying to work it out to this right-hand side. There's Elia going up against Luke McHenry. Cross to the back post. It's nodded down. And that's maybe why we were advised to watch out for him. But that must be onside, surely. Yeah. And that's not the start we were looking for. So Elia runs against McHenry, who, despite the fact that he's only just come into the Man City team, is actually an England international. And just too many people standing around in the centre of the box not doing anything. There's no challenge, no real challenge there. In fact, two of them drifted towards the ball, which gave the space for De Gusto to score. Matheus Nunes with a corner to the near post. It's flicked, hits the bar. And then Ruben Diaz misses the target on the other side of the goal. Right, a corner, Foden to take it into the far post. Matheus Nunes arriving late, heads past the keeper, levels it up at 1-1, and that's much more like it. Just bends it to the far post. Matheus Nunes on the run, arrives, gets up above everyone, heads home. Nunes with a corner from the left. It's flicked on again at the near post by Haaland. This time it goes just over the top. Right, we've brought Florian Wirtz on with McGran going off injured. Hopefully we can ease him back in a bit. There we are, half-time 1-1. I mean, they've had one shot, showed one goal. We've dominated possession, we've dominated the chances, and just haven't taken them. Right, we've not been any more changes to start the second half. They've got a free kick though. Elliot to take it, goes for goal. Hits the inside of the post by the looks of it. Hit the inside of the post, went across the face of the goal, and we managed to get it away. Right, Foden with a corner from the right, aims for the far post again. This time it's Haaland that gets his head on it, hits the inside of the bar and goes in. And that's us in front 2-1. Hits the back post. There's three of our players up against two of theirs. Haaland gets his head on it. Keeper's got no chance. And we've got in front. Edison to McHenry. Rodri onto Musiala. Ruben Diaz to Musiala. Rodri, we're just sort of passing the ball backwards and forwards here. Gvardiol into Musiala. Looks for Haaland in behind. He pulls it back to Musiala on the edge of the box. And they've managed to get it away. Right, so we made some more changes just to bring some fresh legs on the pitch. Right, Florian Wirtz with a free kick low to Veloso de Santos. He's into the box. He's still got it. Back to Bob. Onto his left foot. Curls it, hits the post. And they've cleared it. Right, Veloso de Santos. Musiala picks up the loose ball. Bob goes back to Ruben Diaz. Gvardiol. Out wide now to Scalvini. Bob. And shot's been deflected behind. Right, a free kick. Wirtz low into Bob. Takes a touch, works it into Granelli. I think he was probably offside anyway. And he skied the chance. So, from the resulting goal kick, they've gone long. Ruben Diaz heads it down. Bob. Down the line for Scalvini. It runs to Wirtz. He squares it, and Granelli's missed another sitter. And there we go, full time, a 2-1 victory. Far, far from simple. But one thing's for certain, we're going to have to be a lot better than that in our next Champions League game away at Real Madrid. So, this is the team we've picked for the trip to Madrid. We've gone with Diaz and Scalvini in centre-half pairing, which allows us to play Gvardiol at left-back. Xavi Simons started the last league game, so he's available on the bench. Alphonso Davies is just back in training. So we have played one game since the Young Boys game. It was a home game against Brentford. We did pick pretty much as much of a rotated team as we could. Xavi Simons started in the game. Florian Wirtz started in the game to give them some game time. And it was a pretty comfortable 3-0 victory for us as well. So hopefully we go into this game in a bit of form. But it's going to be undoubtedly a tough test against a really good team. It's not a good start. The Gvardiol's picked up a knock already. Alaba with a free kick for them. Camavinga into Bellingham, into Vinicius Jr. in the box, and luckily he didn't hit the target, and I think he was offside anyway. We did play Real Madrid in the quarter final of the Champions League last season. We were in the lead and dominating most of the game here in Madrid, but ended up losing 2-1. Camavinga looking for the ball into the box. It comes out to Alaba, Rodrigo, back to Alaba, Camavinga to Valverde, chips it looking for Pino, and luckily it's straight into the hands of Ederson. Scalvini to Ruben Diaz. Looks for Vert, but it's just going to come straight back at us here. Diamande to Marquinhos, Camavinga. Bellingham's in the box, and we gave the ball away. Ruben Diaz lumped it up looking for Florian Wirtz. He was never going to win a header against Marquinhos, and then they've just scythed through our defence. And pretty simple finish in the end for Bellingham. Right, Ruben Diaz into Matheus Nunes, back to Diaz. Rico Lewis goes back to Ederson. Rodri, Ruben Diaz. Rico Lewis turns and goes upfield. Finds Phil Foden. He gets the ball and crosses into the box, and Courtois comes and claims it off Haaland's head. And now they're going to attack down their left-hand side. Rodrigo into Valverde. Back to Rodrigo. Camavinga making the run forward. Vinicius Jr., the defence opened up for him. Defence split in two, and he just lifts the ball over Ederson, and we're in a bit of bother here. Just far too easy. And then when Camavinga looks up, just the defence, and one of the defenders had come flying out of position. Gvardiol hadn't really touched around because he had a man outside him. So Ruben Diaz had come flying out. Scalvini's going to cross. Gvardiol hadn't come far enough across. And there was a huge gap for Vinicius Jr. there. Right, a throw in for them deep in our half. Alaba to take it. Camavinga into the box for Rodrigo. And luckily he didn't get enough bend on that. From the goal kick, we go out to Rico Lewis. Matheus Nunes, Foden into Wirtz. Musiala now going down the outside. Pulls it across goal. I think that's an own goal. It hit Alaba and went in. And that's very, very much against the run of play. Wirtz to Musiala, who just goes down the outside. Gets to the byline, pulls it across in the 6-yard box, and it actually looks like Perkovic tries to clear it. It hits Alaba and goes in. So we've not made any personnel changes at halftime, but we have gone to a a more normal 4-3-3 with Wirtz and Foden wide. Ruben Diaz to Rico Lewis. Back to Lewis again. Back to Ruben Diaz. Foden just chips the ball into the middle of the park and gives it away, but luckily it bounces back to him. Ruben Diaz to Florian Wirtz. Scalvini dwelled on it too long, but luckily Matheus Nunes turns it back to Diaz. Foden, Lewis, Foden. Matheus Nunes just loses out there. It goes back to the keeper. Alaba. Now Valverde bringing it clear. Bacciarina drives into the box. Oh my God. There just doesn't seem to be anything we can do. So Vinicius Junior finds Bacciarina. He just drives at the defence. Just drags it one way. And then no one got anywhere near him. Right, so we made 3 changes. We've brought Rio, Veloso de Santos and Simons on for Wirtz and Musiala. Right, we won the ball back. Rico Lewis to Foden. Again, chips it into the middle of the pitch and gives it away. I mean, I'd like to think he's offside there. It looks like he's offside. Yeah. He just went too soon, thankfully. Right, they've gone down the line, and Burmo goes back to Diamandi, and Burmo again. Gvardiol takes it, goes into Riho. Bob back to Ruben Diaz. Rico Lewis driving forward now. Into Bob in the box. And we've pulled a goal back. That's 3-2 with a couple of minutes left to play. Just about the first time we've looked threatening in the second half. Rico Lewis driving forward. Bob takes a great touch and then just bends it into that bottom corner. Opened his body up lovely. That's 3-2. 6 minutes of injury time. Can we nick an equaliser? And the answer to that is no. Full time 3-2. And that, I think, is by far and away our worst performance all season. We've made it to the end of November. We've played another 3 league games since that defeat against Real Madrid, and we've managed to win every one of them. First up, we went away to West Ham and won 2-0. 2 goals in the second half from Erling Haaland and Florian Wirtz were enough to get the points. We then were at home against Burnley and won comfortably 4-0, sharing goals around, and TJ McGran on his way back from his injury. And then in the most recent game, we dominated the game and should have scored more than we did. Although it's our defence that really actually played the best. Alphonso Davies popping up with the only goal of the game. So what it means at the end of November, we are top of the table in the league. We are 7 points clear. We've won 13 out of 14 games this season. We are struggling a bit in... what I should say is we're sharing the goals around more than just having Haaland score the goals this season. Florian Wirtz right up there in terms of the average rating. Phil Foden right up there in terms of the assists, largely from corners as well. And then as far as the Champions League is concerned, that defeat to Real Madrid's been pretty costly because we were sort of up in the top 5 prior to that game. We're now down to 10th with 3 games left in terms of qualifying for the knockout stages. Ideally, we want to be in the top 8, so we missed the knockout playoff round. Our next game is away at Tottenham, who are right next to us in the league phase. So that's going to be a big, big game. And there we are, the end of another episode, and things are going pretty well. Obviously, we're going to need to bounce back in the Champions League after that defeat against Real Madrid. Really, we've got 3 games to make sure we finish in the top 8 so that we miss that knockout playoff round and make it into the last 16. But things are going well in the league. So join us next time to see if we can get a result against Tottenham and see if we can end the league phase on a high. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.